Hi everyone, thanks for joining our talk today. My name is Tasso. I have long years of Android development experience, but now I work as an engineering manager at Delivery Hero.
And my name is Sevan Ecemoğlu, and I work as a product analyst in logistics department.
Cool, without further ado, let's get started. So today we are gonna talk about crash reporting. It's gonna be based on Firebase Crashlytics, but we did some custom stuff on top of it, so we will see what we do. It's more about knowledge sharing, and then like seeing what you could do, and like showcasing some of our experience as well. Yeah, so we will start with a bit Delivery here because it's a good segue to our talk. So Delivery Hero is a German company. We are sponsors and we have the booth there. For more information, you will find us there. Also, I don't think we will have questions time because we are a bit late. So like if you have any questions, come to our booth. I will be there. We will be there. So we are a German company, but we don't operate in Germany. That's a bit weird. Not many Germans also know, but it's one of the biggest tech companies that is German. We operate in 50 countries. That's really complex. That's why we are going to talk about it more, actually. Like you see that we are in Latin America, Asia, Middle East, Turkey, and in Europe we have a couple of countries also. We have 500,000 monthly active riders. For a consumer application, it is not too many, but for us, it's a lot of riders actively working for us. So we will see a bit more about that too. I will just do a quick introduction to our application. So we are in the logistics department. We work for our rider application. So this application is used for whole day. You can do shift your work organization. So they like these people are work for us. Sometimes freelancers, sometimes our own employees. They can pick a shift or work, and then they take orders. They are all halting with our app, and even the like wallet and money part is also a bit complex because they also got money, cash from the customers, give to us, we give back their salary, all kinds of payments going on. That's also really complex sometimes. And then here I want to also put our applications. So we have this many double tap with iOS as well. So we have the applications, these ones in Play Store. Basically, Panda Rider. Panda Rider was also, Foodpanda was shortly in Germany last year. We exited again, but we have like, Panda Rider is the biggest one, Talabat is in Middle East, Pedidosia in Latin America, so these are basically the biggest ones. Yeah, and then there is one Korean, so that's one of the new ones. That's also exciting. Yeah. So in the talk, what we are gonna do basically, like first we are gonna talk about how it all started. Yeah, basically, like what you are gonna see is that it is not really a big like rocket science. It's more about sharing experience. That's what we are here. So it's also not gonna be a tutorial. So basically, why we do this. How we did it, so you will see the details, and it would be like, I hope, like an inspiration to you that you can go back and learn more about it if you're interested in maybe do something similar in your company.
So first, I want to ask how many people they use Crashlytics? Perfect.
Yeah,
this is the perfect target.
That's nice.
Perfect audience. So again, like today, like we're not going to talk about anything, like it's not a rocket science what we did, but I think everybody can do this, what we did, which is a custom reporting with Crashlytics. So maybe you can take the slide, which is because you're an engineer.
Yeah, basically, like I think everybody can feel this. This is one of the like a famous GIFs, memes, let's say. So you ship something like in mobile, it's especially it's special because like you cannot just commit and roll out to production like backend. So like all of our features go to App Store maybe together once a week, twice, like every 2 weeks, etc. So like, well, if something goes wrong, actually, like, what do you do, right? How do you analyze it also? So this has two parts. like here, like it says revert revert, we have a lot of things maybe there also, like we would maybe it's a separate talk that goes into more on-call engineering, also alerting, etc., like incident management. So this is not going to be part of this talk, but it's going to be more about analyzing deeper the crash data we have. Yeah.
Okay, so if everybody use the Crashlytics, probably you know the interface. So this is the interface. This is also our interface. So as we discussed, like we have like 50 different countries. We are operating more than 50 different countries. We have a lot of riders. And the most importantly, those riders, they are using this app more than 7 hours. Some countries like 4 hours, 5 hours, or like 10 hours. That means a lot of hits, a lot of event tracking, a lot of crash, or a lot of non-fatal errors, you know, those kind of things. So we have like 14 billion events combined with Firebase Analytics and like Crashlytics. So that's why we start this project, because using this interface, it's a bit complex. So as we mentioned, like we have more than 20 different apps because of we have different brands. We have also Android, iOS. So the first problem we faced is we don't have a holistic crash number or crash-free number. So you have to go each brand or each platform to see what's your like crash-free user. So this is how actually it started. Okay, so but first of all, I also want to show you, you know, what I find from like Google. So in Facebook, average people, they spend almost 1 hour a day in one day. And if you look at other popular website, in Amazon, average session duration is like 10 minutes. So compared to ours, like that's why our app is a bit complex, because we have too many interactions. And I want to also talk about the limitation. I already started, but so the reason we start this project, because this interface doesn't have any custom report, doesn't have holistic view, and also has some filtering limitation. But it doesn't mean that this tool is actually, it's not great. It's has some limitation because of our scale. And also, it doesn't allow us to, you know, look at the Crashlytics, sorry, the crash users based on region, country, brand, or, you know, specific platform or like specific screen.
Yeah, maybe this is a call out to Firebase team. Actually, we are working closely also with them some time to time. But yeah, like these are the stuff that we miss from yeah. Google. But we will see how we dealt with that now. Oh, again an animation.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why did we still keep using it? Right?
Exactly. So like Crashlytics is a very reliable tool, which is everybody is using. So if you have any question in your mind, you can Google it and you can find a lot of solution on YouTube or on like Google, right? And the next one is it's totally free. So there is no like license free if you want to use this tool compared to other tools. And also, what I also believe, in my previous experience, I used to sell a lot of analytics licenses. And in order to understand your company needs, you need to use some tools. You need to understand your needs, like, you know, what kind of parameters I need, what kind of limitation I have, you know, like those kind of things. So in order to understand this, I think using a free tool like Crashlytics, it will give you a big benefit to understand which product you should like migrate.
Yeah. Sometimes you would like buy something very expensive and then you don't even need it.
Exactly. So this has also happened to me a lot. Like I used to sell like Google Analytics 360, and a lot of people, they don't know how to use it. They don't know the limitation, and then after they implement it, you know, they say, okay, I need this and this, but they didn't check it before. So let's go to the next slide.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Quickly mentioning these, like we did a comparison. There are like great companies doing this. Bucks, Next, Sentry. Actually, Sentry is used. As I mentioned, the delivery is quite big. We have like many teams. So some teams actually use Sentry. But for us, we just like looked into it. Like we did some comparison, especially like since we could do this, it was also free. So like yeah, we just go for it. Yeah.
Please. So, I mean, the first thing we did, of course, probably everybody knows, we use custom keys. So, when you use custom keys, you can create your own report. You can filter specific, like user ID, or you can filter specific screen name, or any kind of custom information you want to do. So, in our case, for riders, we call it riders, or you can call it like delivery people. You know, it's like we need to send the brand information. We need to send the screen name, which is we use, for example, last active screen, which is TAHSIN, for example, came up with this idea, you know, in order to understand in which screen they had this problem before. And also sending a country information, brand, and also their like unique identifier also. And then what we did is, you might also ask, you know, why you didn't use the Data Studio sample dashboard. It's again, there are some limitations because we have more than 45 different tables. Because when you export Crashlytics, including with real-time data, you will end up having 40 different or 50 different tables, in our case, of course. Yeah. And it's not possible to build something with this solution. So that's why we used our custom solution. And also, it's not cost-effective because you're just linking your the whole table. So like querying on the full table, it's a bit costly.
Yeah, so like Crashlytics, actually, like it's a good point. Crashlytics is free, but of course you export it to BigQuery. It comes with cost, but it's still much cheaper. But this is, I think, still a very good start. I mean, this comes for free. Like Crashlytics have this integration to generate this automatically. Like we didn't use it, but it's a good start.
So I also want to talk about the data architecture, like how we did. So we have Google Analytics, or you can call it Firebase Analytics, because we only have app. And it's, again, it's totally free, no license fee. Also, like Crashlytics we use for crashes and also non-fatal crashes. And there is, again, a free connector with Google BigQuery, which is also you can connect your real-time data to. I think it's close to 10 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. And we export this to Google BigQuery tables, which is our raw data. And then, because our data size it's a bit large, so that's why we also use Airflow to like create our table. Basically, we're just cleaning up our table because we don't use all the fields in this Google like BigQuery table. And then we create a new like created layer table, and then we link it to our Data Studio, which is another Google free tool you can use. You can also link it to Looker or Tableau or whatever you have in your also company. But what we used here, except like Airflow, I guess, so there's no license fee. So it means everybody can do this. So that's why we call it in the beginning, it's not a rocket science. You don't need a license, and you don't need that much also technical background.
Airflow is open source, I think.
Yes.
I don't know too much about it, but yeah, it's cool.
So again, like everybody talks about, you know, like data is everywhere, right? And for us too, you can also build like a lot of dashboard with your like crash number, and you can also link this data with your business like KPI, which is also we did. We will use it. We will show it in the next slides. So, but I want to show you this like structure with a different, with a different way, with the Lego example. So data, it's like this. You know, you have a bunch of Lego, different color, different types. So basically, when someone give me this table, someone create a dashboard or create some insight, for me, it's a nightmare, of course, because I need to understand what all this field means. You know, I need to understand the data schema. So the next step is you need to understand this table. So it kind of sorting your like Legos, which is in this case, you know, you're just preparing your query to pull the specific information from your table, which is you don't need to pull like everything. So this is my like query. I mean, you can use it too. If you have a custom keys, you just need to put it there. And you also have, the platform information and also some operating system information you can pull. So if you have a custom key for your user ID, you can also see which user they actually get a crash. And you can link it with other tables too in your company. Next slide, please. And like before presenting, you need to like arrange this like Legos, right? So this is also what we did. Before link it to your like data studio, you need to also prepare your data. This is also what we are doing, which is like arranging your like Legos. So we have a specific table, which is we don't use our like row table because of being more like cost effective. And the last part is like presenting the data, which is data visualization. So it's basically also just presenting your Lego or just building a specific Lego, of course. So yeah, basically this is the, the data architecture, and like those are the steps. I think the key thing is, working together with like engineers and also with a data person. I'm a product analyst, but you can do the same thing with your like data analyst. Yeah. So the next slide.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. If you have like such team or such people with more experience with data studio like Sevan in your company, I think it's like was a really great collaboration opportunity. I would encourage everyone to try that. You can actually try also yourself maybe, but like with people more experienced, you could be more effective. This was like a great collaboration.
You might need to skip some slides maybe because we don't have that much time.
So now I'm gonna speak like Sevan built all this dashboard. Actually, when we were doing it, it's like was really exciting. And now I want to talk about a couple of use cases where how it was useful for us, right, in real life, in our application. So basically, like, this is the basic picture of the dashboard. It has more than this, but basically, like what we have, what you see here is first of all, Android and iOS is together. So that's really valuable for us. Crash-free user calculation. So we have our own calculation because like Crashlytics says how they calculate. We try to do something similar, but what they don't like, as you saw, like as someone mentioned, they have the calculation for every single app. So for us, like 20 different times. So that doesn't mean anything to us, like we have to check it 20 times. That's ridiculous. So we combine all of it. So this is the holistic approach, and we come up with a number. Yeah, and then on the left-hand side, you see like we have a lot of filters that we will see more in details like later. And we have two different versions also. The other one is holistic, but we have two other versions also in the same dashboard, just focusing on Android and just focusing on iOS also. Here also on the left-hand side, you see also a bit more filters. Like for example, you can filter by a specific issue, like a stack trace. Yeah, what else? Yeah, that's it, I think. Yeah, stack trace and maybe last active screen also is more here. Yeah, I would like to now start talking about like how we do software development. Most of you, like it starts with product design, the features come, like ideas come, we refine them, development starts, and then we do test, integrations, etc. And then when the app is ready, like, I don't know, like how many of you do, like, but we do release trains. So the code goes there, the release is cut, we do rollout. So stage rollout is focusing on that application itself, that version. So there maybe we might have regressions on existing features, etc., right? So the focus on there is a bit different. So testing the application itself, the stability of it. And then once it's rolled out, maybe we have a new feature behind a feature flag. We might do A/B testing. Like once A/B testing is successful, then we do further rollout. So about stage rollouts, then that is focused on that specific version, right? We can do like app version deep down. So here what we did is that like real-time analysis of like a new version is already available as like latest release page in Firebase. That's quite useful. But we also look at here. So like then we would filter by that specific version and see how it goes. Yeah, but the second usage is also like somewhat old versions. So here, for example, you see that there was a version, maybe we already did hotfix, but it is still affecting the riders because some people are not so fast of of upgrading their application. So what we did, like we did something quite cool. I am really proud of this. So like first is the classic forced update. Like most of you already have this. Like this is a classic one, backend controlled, and the goal for this is to shut down like very old versions so that maybe we can delete some code, migrations, backend cleanup, etc. This is classic force update. And what we did also, like what we call forbidden versions, again backend controlled. So like if we see some version is affected, or this has more controls actually, some like we can target some riders. So if we see that some of them, or some brand, some country, some version is more impacted, we can roll this out, and then those people have to update their. We can also control if it is optional or if it is mandatory, and then like it's annoying, right? But with this, like with the force update, it goes to more people. With this, it's really focused. Like for example, only affected users get this dialog to update. Maybe that's like less than 1% of the users, but it is still good for them because if that's crashing for them, it's very bad user experience. The next one is like we are rolling out new features, like we do A/B testing. All of it are feature flags. So this is a good example. You see like in June 7, for example, we rolled out a new feature, and we see here that the crashes are increasing, right? So what we do here is just more vindication. So this becomes visible to us. And then what we do basically, like we just turn that flag off. Like we decide actually if it is too high, we turn it off to mitigate that risk, and then like mitigate that like bad user experience. And then we might work on the fix, like depending on the urgency, then we don't rush, right? That's also like to remove the stress from the team. We don't rush, maybe the fix goes to the next version, and then we enable it again, next version. If it is like really, really important, we might do a hot fix. Yeah, that was when we enable it just for iOS. Here also you see that we can also look at like a region level. Here you see like very interesting, Asia, Europe is stable, MENA, the Middle East is stable. Asia even goes down. I think maybe we rolled back there, but you see like Europe and Americas was still going up. So then what we do, we could deep dive into one of the regions and see more information. So that's quite cool. Another example that I want to give is the last active screen. So this was also quite cool. So first of all, it is nice to have information. You see here, like, okay, like I am a developer, I'm responsible for status screen, for example. I see like, okay, like the top crashes are happening there, right? Like close to 10%. Yeah, so this is an interesting information for the teams. Sometimes like a generic information is not super actionable, but then sometimes it's also actionable. We go to specific crash, and then we see that that crash is only happening on that screen. Like that kind of crash, maybe it's not even related to that screen. It's global, but only happening there. So that tells us something. This kind of information, for example, is impossible to find. Even you'd send a custom keys, impossible to find in Crashlytics. You have to go one by one and see the keys, or you need to filter by one of these screens, and maybe. Yeah. Another one similarly is for team breakdown. Then we map that into the teams. So here you see that the one team is have like higher crashes, but there was an incident going on. But I wanted to keep the screenshot anyways. So this is also very interesting data for the team. So we would look into that. Another one that is, I'm a bit rushing because of the time. Yeah. Yeah, I think we have 7 minutes. 7. Okay. So the next one, another use case. We have actually a couple of like more cool ones. The next one is the business impact. So this is a bit experimental. We are not super actively using it, but it's super cool. We want to invest more time into this. Maybe Sevan, you can go for it.
Yes, so I mean, as I mentioned, if you export your crash data to Google BigQuery, that means you can also link it with your other business metrics, like cancellation, for example, in this case. So here we see that the riders who actually experience crash on their app has a 40% higher cancellation rate compared to non-crash riders. But maybe we need to also deep dive into this and specifically check which crashes, for example, it's affecting your, I don't know, conversion rate or sign-up rate or something like that. So this is also just one example of like having a benefit of exporting this data to Google BigQuery.
Yeah, I think we have like Firebase Analytics data there, and even like our databases are also connected, so we can have like, even the backend data, more business data, so you can combine them. That's really cool. Another one is the country level analytics. I think it's the last one. So as we can, as I said, like with the feature rollouts, when we release a new feature, actually, since we operate in like so many countries, 50, more than 50, so what we do, we go like country by country. So we release only on, even with A/B testing, we select the country and do the A/B test there. Then with that, I think here is a good example. In Arab Emirates, you see like a 10% crash is too much, of course. You see that these users in Arab Emirates is impacted, right? Here you can see, like, it's also, again, impossible in Crashlytics to see. And once we have this, I think we have a screen recording. Once we realize this, what we go, we can do like filter by country. I wanted to see last active screen, but this is like the crash report, like grouping based on the package name. So I decided to do that. I see that the login is the highest crash. And then I go to the issue title and the subtitle, which are the stack traces. So you see like the class name with the package. That's all we have. Like we identify. This really helps us identify. Maybe this one is so high that it was also visible in Crashlytics, but also you have to go one by one, because Arab Emirates is one brand. You have to see that. You wouldn't see this in the other one, right? So this is holistic approach and helps us find it. Then actually after this point, once you identify the issue, you again go to Crashlytics actually and find the issue there. You have more information about the stack trace. Maybe it's already useful. Maybe if you want more information, then it becomes really easy to find it in Firebase. Anyways, yeah, this is all. I think overall, like in summary, like today we talk about like this integration, of course, like why we need it, why we did it, and then later like some details on how Sevan did it in BigQuery and Data Studio, and then how we use it. Like I hope it was useful. It's an inspiration. I think we really enjoyed building this. You can also, like, we didn't have too much tutorial style on how you built this. But I think that would be boring. So like you can, if you're interested, go back and read about it. Custom keys, like you should do it anyways, even if you don't have this more complex setup. It's still useful, although it's a bit annoying on Firebase. Still useful, do that. And then more like Data Studio, BigQuery has good documentation. You can start with the template. And more importantly, we will be in the Delivery Hero booth.
If you have any question after this?
Yeah, if you have any questions, we started a bit late because of the technical issues, so like you can find us there. If you have any questions, I will be mostly available there.
And
yeah,
yes, we are hiring also.
Yeah, we have a lot of teams, and the good thing is that in Android and iOS, all levels, we are hiring on all levels, junior opportunities, senior, staff and principal level even.
Not only engineers, also we hire product analysts, data engineers, data analysts.
Yeah, you can find more information again in the booth. Or this website is quite cool also.
Thank you for listening.